Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's, I think this is going to be one of the holiday episodes because I am Dasher Dad, the reindeer.
I think you're Rudolph. You got a red nose.
I don't have a red nose. I have a red nose.
Rudolph. Rudolph.
I thought I was being really kind of cool as Dasher Dad, the reindeer.
If that's how you want to play it, sure.
No, I can't because I have a red nose.
I know.
So there you are. So this is Rudolph Dad, the reindeer.
Yeah.
Coming to you live from the studio.
Let's kick off this holiday season. We got the Rudolph Dad. We got the penguin posse over here that lights up. We got the little gnome. We are decked out and ready for the season.
So what's the theme tonight?
Well, I think you already know.
I do?
We just said it.
I missed it.
Sir. Holidays.
Oh, the holidays.
Yeah.
And the holiday dramas that come with it.
Yes, family is tough. I think the holidays can bring out some of the best in people, but also some of the most stress in people.
Okay. So let's kick it off. Story number one.
Number one.
My husband and I have been together for 13 years and have been married for 7. We have 2 kids now, and every year we have traveled home for the holidays. We have made it very clear that once our kids understood what Santa/Christmas, etc. were, that we were no longer going to be driving home for the holidays. We have decided to celebrate 2 weeks before and are hosting a family dinner for both of our families in our hometown. I am not changing my mind about this. My kids deserve to celebrate the magic of Christmas at home. We only have a small window of time where they will believe in the magic of Christmas, and I really don't want to deal with the drama or guilt trip of us not coming home for the holidays. How do I change the conversation if it comes up so it doesn't start a fight, or do I continue to explain myself?
I think you explained it quite clearly right here. This is what it's going to be. And we're going to, are they stopping this year or they're going to go one more year? They're stopping this year. So I'd be interested in knowing if they actually told their family, a year ago that this is going to change. And we don't know that. But the answer is quite simply, you just say, this is what we've decided. We're not angry with anybody, but we're our new castle. This is going to be our home for our kids, and this is where we're going to be doing Christmas from this day forward. And you guys are welcome to come here and, whatever arrangements you make, because, they just said we're going to do it 2 weeks before with the family. And I think they're going to have their own little, foursome, right now going forward at Christmas, it sounds like to me.
Which is nice. I mean, it's nice to create those memories as your little family unit, your nuclear family. So I think this is a great compromise. And, if you want to do Christmas morning and then they show up on the 26th at your place and come visit, like that's a different story. But I think you guys as a family are justified in asking for one day and also to not have to travel. Like you can set up, Santa can visit at your house. The reindeer can eat the cookies at your house or the carrots, whatever you leave. Like it's nice building those memories as a family. And you can definitely tell Santa that you're traveling and Santa would likely visit at wherever you are. But the reality is, it's nice being in your own home.
It's different.
It's definitely different.
At one point, you guys become, and I truly love that word, you're that nucleus family. And, it's your own castle. And usually it's, in my case, it really happened after we lost matriarch and patriarch. Then, I really felt the houses break down where, if I had, 3 siblings, or there were 4 of us, we all had our own castle.
Right.
It breaks up. And it's not bad. It's just, it's part of the way, life works. And I just hope that you can say, with the tone that it just says it's with love, but this is what we're going to do. And here's how we're going to do Christmas from this day forward.
Yeah. And you can just kind of put it back to them too. Like, don't you remember when, Johnny was little and how exciting it was to get ready for Santa and have Santa come to your house?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just want, some of those memories for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
It seems like it's probably some sort of distance, because otherwise you maybe could split the days, where it's like, I don't know how far we're traveling, driving home for the holiday. I don't know. But I think especially with the Santa stuff, it's more, I don't know. It feels stronger in your own home. It feels different as a kid. And so it is kind of that classic magic of it would be different when you're traveling.
Yeah.
No matter how much the distance is. And
hey, Santa comes wherever you are though. Santa shows up, but it's definitely more special in your home. And it's what our writer wants to do.
And far as the writer goes, I agree. Just, say it nicely with easy love, and to say, this is what we're going to do. And we've made this decision as a couple, and we love you all, but this is what we're going to do. And that's the end of it. With you guys, you're building your own home now. You're going to one day start your own family. And I understand that our history has always been go back to where it's cold country. We all congregated in Minnesota. But it might be different now that you're going to have your own home. And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It'll be interesting to see what you do when you once have your kids. And
well, it's also, the holidays are very different back home than they are here.
Yeah.
It's very, if you grow up here,
our traditions
and you've known it that way forever, it's just you're
traveling home.
That's what we're
traveling. Yeah.
I know it's a little bit different for Christmas, but I'm never one that will ever care if the celebration isn't necessarily on that day. Calendar holiday day.
Same.
For me, I'm down to do, if I'm going home for Thanksgiving, I'm going a week before or a week after. And we're all going to do the same thing. We're going to have the same food. And for Thanksgiving, it's all about getting together. So why do we have to do it on that exact day when travel is an absolute nightmare?
You don't. And that's exactly what this writer's doing. Going home 2 weeks before,
or having them come to her for 2 weeks before.
Whatever they're doing, I think it's perfect. And you just got to really draw your boundaries. Don't fall for any guilt trips. Just hold your guns, because what you're doing is right for your family.
Absolutely.
And understand, change with family is incredibly hard. Always. Breaking tradition is always going to be very, very challenging the first year, maybe the second year. But once you set the new normal, it becomes the new normal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. People hate change, but you got it.
All right. Let's move on to number 2.
Okay. Number 2. This is similar to our first one, but I feel like it's a little different. And I feel like a lot of people go through this. So we're going to really hit it on the head.
Okay. Number 2.
Hi, FKS family. Thank you so much for giving me something to listen to on my commute to work every day.
Glad
you're here.
So welcome. We're really glad to be in the car with you too.
I want to get right into it, but I need to provide some context. I, 30 female, have been married to my husband, 30 male, for 5.5 years, and I've known him for 8 years. We have a beautiful 2.5-year-old daughter and welcomed our second daughter into the world a few weeks ago. With her birthday being less than a week before Thanksgiving, we did not attend any family functions for Thanksgiving, as I was still healing and there are too many unknown germs for a fresh baby. Now, here's the problem: Christmas. I have very strict boundaries around keeping my youngest daughter as healthy as she can be. So we volunteered to host Christmas for my husband's family this year, so we wouldn't have to travel the 2+ hours with an infant. We can control how clean the surfaces are that the baby may come into contact with, and also because our house is the most child-friendly of the whole family. It also allows me to have a dedicated spot to breastfeed, so I don't need to worry about pumping during the celebrations. My mother-in-law is notoriously obnoxious about Christmas. For the past 7 years that I've celebrated with her, she has insisted that the family get together for Christmas morning and eat ham and donuts and open up presents. We suggested celebrating Christmas Eve this year so we can have the magical Christmas morning with our oldest since she finally understands it more this year. Mother-in-law is pissed that we want to ruin the tradition and now wants to get an Airbnb so we can all sleep over and celebrate in the morning. How can I nicely decline? A, spending the night in an unknown house where neither of my children will sleep, and B, celebrate with the extended family on Christmas morning. I know Christmas morning is special, but all of her kids are grown up, and we want that magic with just our little family. My husband wholeheartedly agrees with me, but is not the greatest at standing up to his mother. Simply because he is so used to her gaslighting and manipulative tendencies that he just stops listening to her and gets frustrated with her when she always gets what she wants. Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you.
I think this is a duplicate of the one before. We just basically just say exactly what it is, and this is our family, or this is our decision, and we're going to stay at our own. We're going to stay at our home. There's a reason why we're here. It's child friendly. It has everything, all the conveniences for me to be comfortable with my new baby, and this year. This is what it's going to be. Might be different next year, but this year is what the plan is.
How do you deal, though, with someone who is manipulative, tries to push boundaries, and is offering up solutions, right? Like, oh, okay, fine. Well, we'll get an Airbnb and, we'll be close. Like, are there any ways to kind of work with that, but still get what you want?
Yeah, they can go stay at the Airbnb. I'm going to stay here at my home where I can have my clean environment, where I can breastfeed and do what I want and feel comfortable. I'm not traveling. It's real simple. I'm glad to have you guys come here later, but we're not leaving the house. This is what our plan's going to be. And it's that defined. I know that in my own family, with my sister and some of her kids as they became adults, the adults, the young adults, now adults, became very firm. And they just said, this is the boundary. This is what it is. And telling that to my sister, I think, was a hard pill to, for her to swallow. But she finally got the message, and she recognizes that there is a boundary in that home, and she respects it. And I think that's what it really is. It's really setting the boundary and standing up and not caving to it, not even getting weak. Say, this is the way it is, and I hope you'll understand it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. If you want to go continue to argue, the door is over there. Go outside, close the door, yell at a tree or whatever you want to yell at. I don't want to hear it.
Not the tree.
Not the
tree. Didn't do nothing.
What did the tree do to deserve that? Ugh.
Trees are strong. They're deep rooted and they don't have ears.
Sounds kind of like nice existence, huh?
Yeah.
Are you having a tough day?
I think when you're changing tradition,
yeah.
I mean, this one even more so than the last one, you have even more ammo. You have a newborn.
Yeah.
You have very, very legitimate, not that the last one didn't, but even more so, you have way more of a reason to put your foot down, because it's about health and safety and more than just, I want this for my kids, but it also has that element of I want this for my kids with the oldest child.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When you're changing tradition and you're starting for that new normal,
mm-hmm.
I think it's very important to think, what do we want this to look like going forward? Yes, this year I have the newborn, but if you lead with that as your main excuse for not doing things the way they are,
mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden you get next year, newborn's a year old. Oh, she's fine this year. We can go back to how it was. But you really got to be particular on how you present this and how you're going to set this new normal. If you want to be at your house going forward,
you can always,
then don't rely just on the newborn excuse. Actually put it in motion that, hey, I think now that X is getting to this age and we have the newborn, I think we're going to start doing this at our house.
Perfect.
Not, oh, this year is going to be different. Like, really think about it.
This is our tradition
because
now.
people like the mother-in-law in this story will, eventually have to deal with this year, and then all of a sudden it'll be flipped back again next year. So just consider the future as you do this.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You identify it clearly. This is where we're going to be from now on. This is what it's going to be from this day forward. This is our new tradition, and that's it. I'm not asking your permission, Mom. I love you. But this is where we're going to be, and this is what we're doing.
And I think it's hard when you first start dealing with people like that are used to pushing and pushing and pushing you until they get what they want. It is so painful the first couple times you really hold your ground and you tell them what you're doing rather than ask or try to compromise or whatever. Like, you are going to feel some pressure. You're going to feel some pain points. Your husband is going to feel uncomfortable, but it will pay off in the end. And I think, like you said perfectly, this is our tradition going forward. Ideal outcome on this one: spend Christmas morning with just my husband and kids and host Christmas Eve for his family at our house. So
you're already giving the solution.
It's literally perfect. You guys get an Airbnb, come over for dinner at our house, and then afterwards you can go back to your Airbnb. In the morning, you do your donuts and ham there. We're going to open our presents with our little ones at our house without you guys. This is just a new family tradition we want to establish going forward. And, maybe we can reconvene in the afternoon, or, maybe the afternoons on Christmas Day are for your family. Whatever it is, like, just tell it how it is. Like we've all said.
Define what you want for your lifestyle and
go from there
and live it. That's it.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
One of this week's partners is Quince. It's crunch time, friends. And if you're stressing about the perfect gift, look no further. Quince is really going to let you treat your loved ones and yourself to true quality at an affordable price. These are pieces that are going to live in the wardrobe for years to come. They're staples that you can wear in so many different ways, and the quality is going to allow them to hold up. My Quince jackets I've gotten recently are some of my favorite pieces. One of them is now a barn jacket, and this quilted barn jacket still looks beautiful despite horses nibbling on it. Justin was also on the hunt for the perfect suede jacket, and he was able to find it at Quince. We went in person at multiple stores and couldn't find anything comparable. They have Mongolian cashmere sweaters that start at just $50, and they have the cutest puffer jackets. One is on my list right now. And the best part, the price. All of Quince's items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/FKS for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/FKS to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/FKS.
See my paw? It's my reindeer paw.
That's great.
I thought you'd like that.
That's great. That was really something.
We got to get you like little caps, like clickety clacks.
All right.
Hi, FKS fam.
Hi, friend.
Longtime listener of this show and an OG listener of THT.
Let's go, baby.
But this is my first write-in. This is something I've been holding on to with no one to talk to about it, seeing as how it isn't my secret to share, so this felt like a safe place.
Okay.
This story will require a trigger warning for SA. My boyfriend and I, both early 30s, have been together for a number of years now. There is a particular relative that my partner goes to great lengths to avoid being around, and when I asked, he wouldn't share why. I didn't ask too often, wanting him to tell me in his own time. After a couple of years, he revealed to me that this relative was inappropriate with him as a child. While he did share some details with me, I won't be divulging them here. I am one of 2 people on the planet that is aware of this. For a long time, this person didn't come around, but now that they are married and have children of their own, they have begun attending more family functions, often showing up unannounced. You can see where this poses a problem. My partner is good with keeping a brave face and pretending nothing is wrong, and I do my best to act as a buffer between them. Here is where I need help. This person is someone that is very close to my boyfriend's parents. However, they do not know what crimes were committed against their child by this person. My boyfriend says that he will tell them someday, but that he doesn't know when. He is concerned with what the outcome will be and blowing up the family. He has expressed that he doesn't want to feel responsible for whatever might happen to that person if everyone were to find out. And while he has never told me this, I feel that maybe he is worried that he will not be believed. I don't want to push him into doing something he is not ready for or is uncomfortable with, but I'm tired of watching the person I love suffer on what should be happy days. It makes me sad and angry that the person I love leaves holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries early because he has to relive trauma in being around this relative. We spent Thanksgiving with my family, but with Christmas right around the corner, this has been on my mind as we will be seeing both sides of the family. He deserves the world, and I know his parents well enough to be confident that they would rally around him. I don't know how to make him feel the same, and for him to understand that whatever the outcome may be, he holds no responsibility for the actions of someone else. Ideal outcome, my partner gets to enjoy his time with family without anxiety, and that I can continue to support him and help him grow through his trauma. Additional info, I have never outright told him that he should share this information. I've only ever asked if he plans to.
I will say, this one feels a bit above our pay grade, so take everything with quite a few grains of salt. But kick us off.
The abuser themselves are the ones that sign the ability of the person they abuse to go say whatever they want.
Yeah.
No matter if they like it or not. So this is real. And this person doesn't have to live in that trauma. And he doesn't have to live in that fear. He could certainly come clean and say, you did this. He can go to his parents, say, he did this. What you guys want to do with it is your business, but I'm not going to come around it. I don't want to feel uncomfortable anymore. I don't want to be haunted by the memory of what happened. And you guys can tell me what you're going to do. Are we going to are you going to ask him not to come? The victim has the ability of making the determination to state what he wants within that family for him to come around.
Yeah.
And identify those rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all great if he comes to the point where he would like to share that information.
And
and
we're
do
not
that.
there yet.
And I think right now, as the person writing in, you are doing everything perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You're being there for him. In times where you feel the need to, you act as a buffer.
Mm-hmm.
And at points, yeah, he has to leave. And I'm sure it's incredibly frustrating and angering to always have to face this and know what it does to your boyfriend every time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say at the same time, if your boyfriend wants to show up, for instance, this Christmas with family, knowing that this other family member might show up, if he wants to still go and be there and he's still not ready to tell anyone else, then your best situation, the best thing you can do is go with him and keep doing what you've been doing. As much as that is painful for you.
Right.
That's kind of the best position to take, I think, is exactly what you're doing. How you say, I can continue to support him and help him grow through this trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he is ready,
stand by his side.
Well, of course, but then, maybe that's when it'll start, hopefully things will start to change for the better regarding any family gatherings going forward. But you kind of have to just stay doing what you're doing until he comes to that place on his own.
This is all his lead. This is all his choice, not your choice.
It totally is. And our writer, our listener totally recognizes that. I mean, there's no push. There's no, I'm going to tell his parents behind his back. There's nothing but support here,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing.
Yep.
The only thing I think that you could do is really encourage him to go to therapy. I think there's probably a lot of things that he hasn't addressed, and maybe therapy will help him garner the strength to, be ready to talk to his parents. I'm not sure if he would feel comfortable asking his parents like, hey, can you give me a warning if so-and-so is coming to these family events? Even just asking that, or, saying, hey, if so-and-so is invited, I'm going to leave. And you'll probably get, why? I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but that's a boundary for me. Maybe that's a great initial step. And then everyone is kind of in the loop of, oh, if so-and-so shows up, he's going to leave. Like, there's at least that boundary, especially if it's like you guys are going to his parents' place and just that person shows up. Like, that would feel very triggering. You'd be caught off guard. Like, I think there's a conversation that could be had without him having to be ready to share everything yet. But I also think it's very important to, again, go to therapy, because saying like he doesn't want to blow up the family, he doesn't want to feel responsible for what might happen. Like, as you said, it's on the person who did the abuse, and it is. Actions have consequences. This person was disgraceful, disgusting, just terrible, and that is not on him at all.
Okay, you ready for the problem? There's other kids. This guy did it to this guy when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem.
There is, and I
this
think
house,
that's
this family has a right. And maybe if you talk to your guy and say, there could be a potential where he can hurt somebody else.
There could be, but I also think it's important to not put so much pressure and obligation on the victims as well, because he is a victim and he shouldn't have to carry that and what happened to him, and also the weight of the world of protecting everyone else. Is that a potential reality? Absolutely. Could that be a reason that he develops strength to come forward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, I don't want to.
Therapy.
I think that's the big answer here. The big answer, because holidays are supposed to be fun and nice, and you should be around people you love and, family. But I think you guys keep doing what you're doing. Draw the boundary. That person shows up, you leave, get there early and just leave when they come. But it's unfortunate because he shouldn't have to suffer. His holidays shouldn't be cut short because of this other person.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not ready to talk about it yet, or tell his parents at least, then this is kind of the way you have to manage it right now.
I had a cousin that was abused. He talked about it when he was 50 years old. I mean, he waited years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
And it's just, let it go. Be free. Tell people. Like, this is not your burden to bear. This was solely on this other person that did this. And actions have consequences. But you're doing everything right. Keep supporting, encourage therapy, and keep us posted.
Okay. We're rolling on to number 4.
Number 4. Another one of this week's partners is Greenlight. There's that old saying, something about giving a man a fish, he eats for a day, teaching a man to fish, he eats for life. Okay, well, I'm not talking about fish. I'm talking about money. Because how do you learn about money and financial responsibility? And if you have kids, how do you teach them about it? Well, that's where Greenlight comes in. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families. Parents can send money to their kids and keep an eye on kids' spending and savings, all while kids and teens build money confidence and lifelong financial literacy skills. The Greenlight app is going to let your kids learn how to save, invest, spend wisely, all with games that actually teach them money skills in a fun, easy to learn, accessible way. I don't know how to budget. I don't know how to save. I don't know how to invest. If I would have had Greenlight, I would be so much better with my money. One of my favorite features that Greenlight has is the chores feature. You can set up one-time or recurring chores that are customized to your family's needs. So then when your kid does a good job, they get rewarded with that allowance instantly. If you want to try it for yourself, sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/FKS. That's greenlight.com/FKS to try Greenlight today. Greenlight.com/FKS.
Rolling to number 4.
My spouse, 26 male, doesn't want to celebrate Christmas anymore, and I fear it's going to tear us apart. I, 28 female, love my fiance very much. but I'm worried about our future. I love Christmas, and he knew this when we got together. I've always known that Christmas wasn't his favorite holiday, but I assume that had to do with the fact that his grandmother, who was like his mother figure, passed during it, and she loved Christmas. But as of March of this year, he's really put his foot down that he does not want to celebrate Christmas anymore. He's saying it's for biblical reasons. Apparently, in the Bible, it says that you can't have a tree in your house and decorate it with silver and gold. I'm hoping he changes his mind when we have kids, but here lately, I've been asking myself if I really want to take that chance. We're getting married next September, and we've been together for 3 years. We've spent 3 amazing Christmases together, and all of them have been wonderful. It just really kind of breaks my heart that he doesn't want to celebrate it anymore. No more going to see Christmas lights. He doesn't want to watch any Christmas movies. I mean, really, I could do these things by myself or with other people, but I would like the option to do it with my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be clear, he's not preventing me from celebrating Christmas. He just doesn't want to celebrate or be a part of the celebration. Tomorrow, I'm picking out a Christmas tree with his grandfather. His grandfather lives with us. Ideal outcome, either to get a reality check or just an outside opinion.
It's important to you. It's real simple. This is a fundamental thing that you enjoy during this period, this holiday season. You are rejoicing your belief within the Christmas spirit, and you want to share it with the person you love. The only person you get to negotiate on this one is yourself. And you have to say, do I want to have a life without Christmas being shared with the guy I love? And then if your answer is, I do not want a life without sharing it, then you need to say, this is my decision. Either we're going to get some counseling to try to figure it out, or I can't do it.
This is a very interesting one that I don't think we've ever had anything similar, because usually this type of write-in is my partner doesn't want kids and I do.
Mm-hmm.
My partner isn't interested in sex, but I'm very sexual. These big relationship things, so many of them that aren't these big pillars of relationship, we always kind of, it seems like you can get through it. Like, all right, well, your partner can go fishing and you can go do X, and you'll just, whatever. You guys don't have to be obsessed with each other's hobbies, but this sits somewhere in between. So it's very interesting. And it may be big enough actually to consider a future with this person, because if it's that important with you, feels really sad that you'd then go be looking at the lights by yourself. You'd be wrapping gifts by yourself. You'd be doing the tree, and he's just like Scrooge Grinch over there,
That
just wants
sucks.
nothing part of it. And if that's a really big thing for you, it's not necessarily one day. It's
your
really
whole
has
life.
become, for a lot of people now, pre-Thanksgiving all the way through the end of the year. I mean, we're talking maybe a 10th of the year. It's 10% of the year now. It feels like the holidays and the spirit and everything. So we're not just talking about a day.
That's right.
And if you don't want to deal with that year after year after year, and it's probably going to get worse. It's going to get worse to where he's not necessarily even going to tolerate it. It's going to be like, all right, I'm going off to Mexico for the week. I'm going to go sit on a beach. You guys have fun. I mean, where does this lead? And if it's that important to you, then it's just like, we're kind of a mismatch.
I think this would be a deal breaker for me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine my future and going to the tree farm or tree parking lot. I don't know where you get your tree. By yourself, pushing a stroller with a baby by yourself. And then you're walking with a toddler by yourself and a teenager by yourself. And you can't have a tree with gold and silver in your house. So you're decorating it in the backyard. You're wrapping presents by yourself. You're doing Elf on the Shelf by yourself. I mean, you want a partner. And he's fully entitled to his own stuff. Like, maybe he finds a very strict Christian that doesn't celebrate in this way. I don't know. I'm so curious if he was ultra religious though, or if this just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, there's a couple different thoughts. First of all, if you can't have gold and silver and on a tree, why can't he decorate a tree with just wood decorations or paper decorations?
No tree in the house, Jerry.
No tree.
Very strict.
So it sounds to me almost like it's I don't know if it's Seventh-day Adventists or one of the other religions that you can't even celebrate Christmas.
I mean, a lot of them, you don't get to celebrate Halloween, like for like some of the strict ones. Like,
come on now.
It's
Seriously.
a thing. Yeah, no,
Seriously.
it's a thing.
I'm celebrating Halloween.
It's really, down to a culture. I mean, there's sometimes when you are with someone of a different culture, you have to decide, can you live within that culture or not? And that's what you're dealing with this. And unless it's simply the fact that his grandmother died and he needs some help with grief I for this period of time and learn how to enjoy it or not. I mean, we really don't know really what's going on in this guy's head, but you need to find out because it's simple. It doesn't sound like you're going to be happy going through your life without this festivity and this celebration during this period of time. And if you're not going to be happy during it, then why are you with this person?
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be very tough to deal with.
Meeting of the minds. Remember that one?
Yeah, that's why I think it might get worse.
It will get worse. And there'll become bitterness.
Yeah. You're 28. Like, it's like the perfect time to like now realize I should get out before I'm in any deeper. Like it really is before you get married, before you have kids, before you're the single parent carrying all of these things on your own. And I just thought I wanted to look up the Bible verse because I was curious. It's Jeremiah 10:3-4 in the King James Version. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it not move.
Cutteth a tree out of the forest.
I did that, by the way. I actually
I'm going to start saying
a lot of people cut down their own trees.
I did, and I found out it was outside of Duluth. It was in one of the forestry preserves, and I didn't know it.
Did you just implicate yourself?
Yes, probably, but it's statute of limitations. I'm sure is long gone.
I'm going to start using the word cutteth.
Cutteth.
I'm going to get my hair cutteth.
It is so much up to interpretation, and if that's how he wants to interpret that is fully his right. But again,
it's just how do you proceed?
How do you go forward? And I honestly think this would be very difficult to go forward because it is something that's so important to you and it does shape your kids' lives. It shapes how you raise them. And I think it begs a bigger question of how do you raise your kids? Are they practicing his faith? Are they, going to church? And you have a lot to unpack.
A lot of implications here.
But for me, I wouldn't feel bad letting this be a deal breaker.
Reflect it within your own eyes and look at the reality of it and see all the implications that you are inviting and say, is this what I want for my life? Because right now you're getting pulled over for a warning. You're not getting the ticket. You're going to get let go. But now you get to decide what you're going to do.
Okay. A little flipping it there.
Yeah.
A little,
something.
The turns have tabled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love, though, if there's other people out there that have gone through calling off a wedding, that have, broken up after 8 years. Like, what was the reason? Like, have you left for things smaller than a Christmas tree? Even though for me, that feels really big. But I think it would be nice, though, to have other people chime in. Like, what was your last straw? What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you? Because I think a lot of times people feel silly for leaving. Like,
yeah,
I left over a piece of toast. Like, I left over him not making me breakfast because he was always so self-centered and he would wake up before me and I never got breakfast. Like, what is the straw? Because I think seeing other people's straws gives people a lot of strength and courage to then be like, I got this. I'm good.
And also, would you leave over this? Like, are we crazy sitting here saying it's a deal breaker?
No.
What's your thought?
No, because I look at myself and I've left over for things that, I would let get by. I saw someone that couldn't accept my kids, or
That's a huge one.
behavior on my kids. And even though my kids are adults, the behaviors. And otherwise it would be something like, simple little, cheap, intondancies, or, things that, that most people will excuse away and just say, don't worry about it. But
cheapness is a big one that bothers you.
But it got to be, it got to make me, bitter.
Yeah.
And I saw something that was going on, and it killed the relationship. It killed some of my spirit. And I said, I'm done. And that was it.
Yeah.
Keep us posted. Again, you guys, there is a whole separate update form. So if we've read your story, please go to the update form so it doesn't get lost with all the write-ins. Thank you.
Let's move on to number 5.
Number 5. Another one of this week's partners is Hiya. Did you know that typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise, filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that growing kids should not be eating? Well, this is actually why Hiya was created. It's the pediatrician-approved super-powered chewable vitamin, and it's made with 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk, and it actually tastes great even for the pickiest of people. I myself tried it and found it delightful. But the best part is that Hiya is going to fill the most common gaps in your children's diet, so it really provides that full body nourishment that your kids need. It's pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others that are going to support a variety of benefits. Hiya is also non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free. It's designed for kids 2 and up, and it's sent straight to your door. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/FKS. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/FKS to get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Hi, I've been listening to Father Knows and THT for a while now, and I could use some fatherly advice. Spending holidays with my partner versus my family. So I typically don't like the holidays. My family tends to fight, talk politics, fight some more, and I've always felt left out in my family. I'm the youngest by 10 to 12 years, and I've just never felt accepted by my family. I used to try to enjoy the holidays up until maybe 5 years ago. I became very aware that I felt like I was the worst version of myself with my family, and during the holidays, having to spend all that time with just them. Now I have the option to spend Christmas with my partner. In the last few years, the only good holiday I have had were the 2 trips, 2021 and 2023, I took solo with my partner. He gave me these trips as presents because he knows my difficulties with my family. While I am excited to spend time with him, I am nervous to spend time with his family. I lived with him and his mom before his parents got back together, so I tend to be comfortable around her, but get quiet around his dad and sister, whom I don't have a bad or good relationship with. I'm nervous I'll still feel like the black sheep and will still have a bad holiday. Additionally, I feel bad for not going to see my family despite how they make me feel. My mom says I'm abandoning them, and while I don't like that she says that, it feels true. How do I go about having better holidays, getting along with his family, and dealing with the guilt of skipping out on mine? Ideal outcome, have a good Christmas and not feel guilty for how I feel. Additional info, I am 20 female and my partner is 20 male. We will be switching holidays each year, so both Thanksgiving and Christmas to one family each year, due to how members of my family already have switching holidays. This will be the first holiday out of 4 years we've been together that my family will be in a different state and I'm not with them. So before now, we've split the day/week between our families.
There's no doubt that if you're uncomfortable going somewhere, don't go. You don't have to go face yourself with being miserable because everyone else is going to fight. And if they call you on it, say, when you guys can figure out how not to fight, maybe I might, entertain the idea of coming back and hanging around, but it's not fun for me. Number one.
Yeah.
If you also feel that there's some insecurity that, I mean, I know you get along with your, boyfriend's, mom, but if you feel that there's something going on with the dad and the other, siblings, maybe you just need to go find out if that's true or not, to see if, give it the opportunity to be open and see if you can build a relationship there, rather than walking in and saying, I'm already nervous about it, or I feel insecure. And if you have some insecurity issues that you feel, maybe you might want to get some counseling just to see what could be causing those insecurities. I'm not saying that you need to. I'm just saying that this is a look you have to look at within yourself if you want to get some extra strength or some feedback or find out where it stems from, some of these feelings.
I will say too, being 20 and going to your boyfriend's place and being nervous to spend time with his family, like that is so normal. It's one of those things, like it's hard integrating yourself into a new family and strengthening relationships with in-laws. Like I was 24, 25 when I really started to meet Justin's family, and I was nervous at 25. Like it takes time, you feel the pressure. So I would just say, like, yeah, that's normal, feeling nervous, to be expected, but don't let it get in your way. Just be yourself, be open, be nice, your usual you, and they'll love you. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to bond with them instantly. And, don't get in your head about feeling like the black sheep and being on the outskirts. Like you're going into this new family, you can set the tone. You can be whoever you want to be and as included as you want to be included. If you go in there setting that tone and you're open, you're talkative, you're inserting yourself in conversations or being a part of them, you're engaging. Like you don't have to stand on the outskirts anymore and get ignored from everyone at, like you do at your family. So I think going in and setting the tone is also going to be really key here.
Yeah. And the more that you do that, the easier it gets,
It's
especially year after year. And how much you interact when it's not just once a year. I think that's a big piece too. The more you can develop a relationship outside of, oh, we'll see you next year at Christmas.
See you next week is better.
It puts so much weight on that one day that, it would be pressure for anybody. Even like if any of us didn't see each other for a year and we met every year on one day, it'd be like, today's the day. And instead of, fearing being judged on how you are that one day, if you have other interactions throughout the year and then you're just happen to be quiet on one Christmas, it's not going to be like, she hates us, doesn't want to talk to us, just doesn't want to be here. It's, maybe they're just feeling a certain way today, or they're just off, because you have so much more to pull from. So I think that might help alleviate these really big, scary days. But also at the same time, it is nerve-wracking the first few times. But the more you open up and get to know people, the easier it becomes. Because then you just sit down and it's like, well, so how's blah, blah, blah going? I know the last time I saw you, you're working on X. And it just smooth. I get being an introvert. I get being shy. That's how I grew up.
But you've done a really wonderful job in our family. You've integrated yourself very well. You walk right in, you're fine.
And that's because he set that tone. Set the tone how you want. I will say too, like we've talked all night, like change is hard. You're 20, you're branching out. Of course your mom is going to guilt you and make you feel bad. Ignore it. Set the boundary, set the tone. No, this is what we're doing. I've got this partner. We're really serious. We've been together this many years. It's only fair. And it makes it easier. It's less traveling, blah, 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 blah. Next year, you get us for both, Mom. I love you. It's going to be great. The second thing, I know you felt like a black sheep and like you're the outskirts and you don't fit in and whatever. I didn't get along with my brother, Matt, until I went to college. Like after freshman year, when I was 19, 20, that's when my older brother, who we have an 8-year age difference, finally started to like me. Literally. So also, as you get older and as you grow and mature and have more of this adult life and experience, you have more you can relate to with these people that are 10 to 12 years older than you. Like that might be a them thing where they just haven't known how to talk to you. And it's fucked up. It's probably way, way, way less, if not, it's probably nothing to do with you and everything to do with all those other people because they just don't know how to converse. So things can get better. Just put yourself out there and set a good tone.
I think with that too, a good thing to practice is being very good at asking questions. And then as you ask questions, listen to their response and keep asking follow-ups. One of my first ones when I don't know somebody, so what do you do? Then they say, oh, I'm, and I know nothing about it, which is even better for me if I don't know about their field, because then I just keep asking questions. Oh, how'd you get into that? Is that because of where you're from? Oh, so how did you end up? And you just keep asking. And if you keep someone talking, generally they'll leave the conversation thinking you're just the coolest person because they feel like all they did was talk about themselves and you just kept asking questions and keeping them talking. It's a very good strategy. And it takes some pressure off you because then you're not forced to continually come up with topics.
Right.
You're just continuing. Question, listen, question. And it works pretty well. Also, I'm very familiar with feeling like the black sheep in being a shy kid. Any new grade, any new school, any new class. If I didn't have a friend in that class, I always felt like the one on the outside. And I've found throughout life that it turns out 90% of that, or even more, is all in your head. And the more you feed into feeling like the black sheep, the more you actually become it. Which leads back to how you started off and how you walk in and set that tone.
Asking questions is great. And there's so many YouTube videos on like how to make friends, how to communicate, how to ask questions, how to have conversations. One thing I've always heard, and I don't remember where it came from, maybe it was me and you talking, but people always remember how you made them feel. Like if you were genuinely interested in them and genuinely curious and made them feel good when you talk to them, they're going to remember that. So that's a pretty good tip to just keep in mind when you're meeting family members of your partner or trying to converse with your own family. It's like, it's hard, but step out of the box and just embrace being uncomfortable a little bit.
Compliments.
And inserting yourself and asking those questions and forming, genuine bonds and conversations.
Yep.
Okay,
moving along.
Number 6.
We got a number 6 today.
Let's roll it on.
Do you want heads or do you want tails?
Heads.
Okay, I was thinking I wanted tails in my head, so this is good.
Okay, good.
So if it's heads, Justin reads the last one. If it's tails, I read the last one.
Okay.
Show the people. You got to show the people. So, what is it? Tails.
That's what mine was.
Fine.
It was.
How are you flipping an imaginary coin? What? Like, oh, wow. Like, what?
I did it. And that's exactly what it was. It was tails.
What the fuck? I'm so confused. Okay. Number 6,
cuckoo.
you guys. Hello, all. I just wanted to reach out because the holidays are coming and frankly, I'm dreading it. I'm about Morgan's age, but my family still treats me like I'm a teenager. They ignore me. They don't really talk to me. I've literally been answering the questions of how I am when they literally turn and talk to someone else in the middle of my sentence. When we open presents on Christmas, they will literally watch everyone open their gifts but mine. I have to say their name multiple times to get their attention to say thank you. I just honestly don't feel like a part of the family. I've tried to tell them and my parents sometimes, but all I get are excuses. I'm just exhausted from feeling like I don't belong in my family. I'm tired of sharing how I feel and have them brush me off or ignore me. Ideal outcome, honestly, just be able to better cope with it all so it doesn't bother me much. I try to bring something to do with me. Additional info, my partner despises my family and will not be coming with me to any events for the foreseeable future. He has very valid reasons, and I can't talk to him or get support from him given that my parents also give me money monthly because my job doesn't pay much at all. Thanks for even skimming this. It has been nice to write it all out. Similar issue to number 5.
Yes.
But also very different.
Yes.
Quite different.
Look, this person's got a real dilemma.
Real pickle.
I was thinking of Home Alone, the little kid.
Kevin!
I was thinking of Kevin the whole time. You know, they all ignored Kevin. You know, and Kevin's the genius in the family. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Kevin's a quick kid.
So this is a decision you have to make. If you're frustrated going and your mate doesn't want to go because of a different issue, then maybe you guys just say, you know, this year we're not coming. We got something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to have a private conversation later when your mom starts complaining that you didn't show up, you say, take a look, Mom.
I've talked to you about this before.
This is what we deal with when we come, and it's not fun. It's demoralizing, and I find it abusive. And I don't think that you're going to, you know, like this conversation, but it's not fun. It hurts me. And that's why I didn't want to come. I didn't want to be hurt anymore. And let them digest that a little bit. And maybe that might soak in a little bit for the next time that you guys do show up to come visit.
Yeah, I'm curious how interactions are outside of the holidays. If this is a pretty normal situation for birthdays or any other holiday.
I can't imagine it to be different.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're very focused on the holidays and everything because we're in that mode right now, and that's what this episode's focused on. But really, this one could use some of that context because it's not just the holidays. Or is it? If it randomly is, then that's really weird. That's strange. But I imagine it to be like this throughout the year. And if your partner's already kind of on this train, then I'm curious if we're going to try going to the partner's family gathering, if that's a thing, or are we just going to do something really special on our own? All sounds very stress-free and limits the potential for any problems because the less people, the more fun, and the more control over what happens.
You may find something that you and your mate want to go do together that involve nobody else, and it could be a lot of fun. You just
again, new normal. Big change, new normal, but it seems like nothing's changed and you've tried. And so that's usually step 1. In this case, you have done that. So now we're to stage 2 where you've tried and maybe not being there might set the tone a little bit, but at least at a minimum, it'll guarantee you won't need to deal with that.
Yeah. I will say it does feel like there's like a bit of information missing here. Like partner despises the family. Reasons are valid. We get that. But like, okay, well, what's really been happening here?
Yeah.
And is your family truly the toxic side? Or, you know, is maybe their stuff valid? I don't know what's going on here. I'm feeling like there's stuff missing. But I do think you saying, I can't talk to my partner or get support from him, given that, and how he blames me for not sticking up for him, a different issue I'm working on. So that kind of makes me think like,
there's a dynamic.
There's definitely a dynamic between you and your parents, and maybe it's because they financially support you and you can't push back and establish your boundaries and speak up for yourself. But also at the same time, your partner should still be able to be like, yeah, it upsets me when you don't stick up for me, but let's talk about what's bothering you. Like, I'm here to support you. Like, and I get it could be upsetting for them after everything. And maybe it's become a boundary where it's like, well, if you're not going to address your parents and if you're not going to stick up for yourself, I don't want to keep hearing it. We've had this conversation 20 times. You know, maybe we've gotten there, but I think therapy could be really, really good for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for everyone. Love therapy. But I think there's something there where like maybe it is drawing boundaries with people. Maybe it is advocating for yourself more. Maybe it's, not going to things and not engaging when you feel bad. Or it's, hey, you go, and the minute they're disrespectful to you, you leave. They don't listen to you as you're opening your present. They're not engaging. Take your present and go.
Yeah.
They don't care to watch anyways. So
Yeah.
go. Take your shit and go.
Let's see how long before they call you that they actually miss you.
Honestly, I'd start fucking with them. Like, go get your goods and get out of there. No one should feel bad on the holidays. No one. Like, make the holidays what you want. If it's going to feel good for you and your partner to go on a little weekend drive, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays, it's commercialized and glamorized, and we should be sipping eggnog in front of a fire. You don't have to do shit if you don't want to do it. Make it what you want. If you want to eat Chinese food on Christmas, eat Chinese food on Christmas. We have a friend that every year, Christmas Eve, they make their Chinese food and then they eat it the next day. Like, everyone can have their own traditions. Do what's right for you.
Yeah.
And don't let family guilt trip you. And don't let them make you feel bad or like the black sheep. And you can have holidays with your kids in your own house. Yeah.
You got all that out. How do you feel now?
Better. So much better.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, you were on a roll. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Good. Well, guys, that's it. That's our number 6 story for the evening. We will have Patreons come join us at the backyard.
So many good ones. Couple holiday ones this year.
And I'd like to, ask you guys to do some write-ins. I have a couple topics I'd love to do a couple shows on. So anyone that has had people in their life as friends all their life, and you've gotten on in years and you've both grown up and you're mature, and you say, gee, I'd like to maybe possibly check out a relationship with this person. Maybe it's more than just a friendship that we've had all these years, and you want to cross the bridge, I call it.
Mm-hmm. And the second theme is girl code, which I also think fits into crossing the bridge, transitioning over the bridge. I don't know, skipping over the bridge, whatever we call it.
Well, it can, but
it could.
I mean, I'll give you,
because do you cross the bridge, or do you let girl code block you? And by girl code, I mean, I have a friend, and my friend dated someone, but they didn't work out for whatever reason. And I'm kind of into that guy that my friend dated, but girl code, I'm not gonna date him.
Yeah.
Or is it okay because they didn't work out and their relationship, was somewhat serious, but also no, I don't know. So where do you go from there? So transitioning over the bridge, crossing the bridge, girl code,
two separate
and bro
stories.
code.
Two and bro code. So girl code, bro code, and that's one.
Hoe code.
And that's one.
The code.
The code.
Let's do the code.
The code. That's one storyline. The other one is
it could be coworker code.
The other one is crossing the bridge. You may have had a family friend.
And the code. Think about the code. The code.
Okay. Let's. If it applies to a story you have or
hopping off the bridge.
I'm going to get some ether and just knock her out.
What's ether?
Ether?
That doesn't sound very
legal. Ether was the...
no, we're not going to give anyone ideas. Okay. Don't try this at home.
The bottom line is, if you have a story and you want to share it, please write in on these ones. I think it'd be an interesting topic, and I'd love to address them.
Yeah. Other than that, head over to Patreon. We've got really good ones for December.
Anything more out of you? You done? You were wound up there a few seconds ago.
I got to go home and feed my ponies.
Okay. You young lad, you good?
Yes.
We're going to all say goodnight and happy holidays.
Give us something.
Well, everybody, have a very happy holiday, and whatever it may be, with whomever it may be. And we'll be here on the other side. And please let us know if there's any post-holiday drama
Yeah.
There you
that
go.
we should be aware of.
We love it.
Safe travels, everyone. Bye.